Thanks for your patience, and once again, welcome to my webinar. My plan for today is to start with a quick overview of Velixo, then show you a few slides that highlight the benefits of our product, and then I will do a full demonstration of the solution. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have at the end of the presentation. Feel free to use the Q&A box to ask whatever question that you may have, and I will be answering your questions at the end. So my name is Gabriel Michaud. I'm the founder of Velixo. I've been working in the ERP industry since the beginning of my career. I've been involved in the Acumatica ecosystem since 2009. I started initially as a VAR and ISV out of Montreal. I'm also an Acumatica MVP. And today I will be showing you Velixo Reports, a product that I have been working on for the last 18 months. Velixo Reports is an Acumatica certified application. It's also customer validated. It might be the first time you see it, but the product has been used by production customers since the middle of last year. The story of Velixo Reports, however, goes back before Acumatica even existed. 15 years ago, I was working on my first ERP product, the local solution that you probably have not heard of, but it's something that was quite popular back in the days here. And I was looking for ways with my team to improve the reporting, especially the financial reporting. No matter what we did, accountants, CFOs, controllers kept exporting data and going back to Excel to make changes, change the formatting, and do whatever calculation that they were not able to do inside the product. So we thought, why not make it easier for them to work with Excel? And instead of having them re-enter numbers, export data all the time, just provide functions and tools to extract and work with the data in real time. So that's where the idea of building a tight integration between Excel and an ERP product was born. The solution that I'm going to show you today is brand new. It's a modern solution, and it's a solution that was built from the ground up for Acumatica. And you'll see later on during my demo that this is something that's quite important. We're building a solution for Acumatica and Acumatica-only, and that allows us to truly focus and build the best possible integration. So I'll show you very nice features such as Smart Drilldown, Smart Refresh, consolidations, and the advanced security features that would not be possible if we were building a solution that works with Sage, with NetSuite, and with whatever ERP product is available out there. So this is something that was built for Acumatica and Acumatica only. As you'll see, the product is extremely simple to use. The installation takes just a few seconds. And after that, you're ready to start building Excel spreadsheets that connect with Acumatica. You can create completely new spreadsheets and reports, or you can also take existing reports that you have and connect them to Acumatica. Any report that you have that requires GL or project data will benefit from the integration that Velixo Reports provide. The product is very, very simple to use. I like to tell my customers and partners that if they know how to use Excel, they already know how to use Velixo Reports. It's that simple. And I have a very, very nice customer testimonial. That's from Nigel Legresley. He's the CFO at Acumatica. And Acumatica is one of my customers. They have been using the product for a year now. They started on the first version that I released. And what they told me is that they were able to get started, migrate all the reports with absolutely no assistance. This is, I think, an amazing testimonial because it shows how user-friendly and how simple the solution is. Performance is something that's extremely important, especially when we're talking about complex cloud-based ERPs with multiple instances, extremely large databases, and sometimes instances that may be scattered across the world. The integration that we built for Acumatica leverages the most modern cloud-based integration technologies, and through a technique that we developed ourselves that we call Smart Refresh, we're able to refresh reports, recalculate reports, and retrieve the latest data in just a few seconds. So when you're working with Velixo Reports, you're opening a report in the morning, you want to get up-to-date data, you do not have to wait for Excel to load your old database and recalculate everything. It takes a few seconds because we're able to precisely identify the new transactions and the modified transactions and make the necessary recalculations. One of the first customers that implemented the solution is KFC France. And I have another testimonial here from Julien Chevry, the partner at the accounting firm that's working with KFC and doing all the bookkeeping. They're using Acumatica to handle all the bookkeeping for every KFC locations in France. So right now, I think that's about 56 locations. And every month, they need to provide a consolidated financial reporting package that includes data on each and every location. So we're talking about a massive report that includes over 50 tabs and 15,000 cells. Each of the cells in this report pulls data from 4 different Acumatica tenants. So if you do the math, that's about 60,000 calculations every time they click the refresh button. So imagine if they had to do that manually, how long it would take them. Being live also means that whenever you make changes to your report, let's say you're adding a new column, you're changing account mappings, that you see results instantly. You don't need to go to a different screen or wait for the report to re-render. Everything is instant, just like everything you know in Microsoft Excel. So people often ask me, so there's a built-in reporting tool in Acumatica. Why would I use your solution? So recently, I decided to write a blog post that you can find on blog.velixo.com. And in this blog post, I highlight a few benefits of using Excel for your financial reporting tool, for your financial reports, I'm sorry. So don't get me wrong, there's a nice and good tool that's built into Acumatica, but Excel has many benefits. And if you go to the blog, you'll see why many of my customers prefer using Excel for their reports. There's also a few additional articles that you may like on the blog. So once again, it's at blog.velixo.com. Feel free to read the articles and provide your share your feedback and comment on the articles if you'd like. So I was telling you about the tight integration that we have and why I feel this is extremely important and key to a successful integration between Excel and your ERP. And Smart Drilldown is one of the features that I'm really proud of. With Smart Drilldown, you're able to click on any cell in your spreadsheet and get detailed information on what's behind the number that you see. You can click on a very simple cell that shows the current balance of an account, but you can also use it to drill down on cells that are formulas, so calculations that add multiple numbers, sums, and so on. I'll show you an example, and you will understand why we call that Smart Drilldown. So that's something I'll show you in just a few minutes during my presentation. Data consolidation is also something that we support. I told you about KFC. KFC has 4 different tenants in Acumatica, and they pull data from all these tenants. The main benefit of using Velixo Reports and Excel for your report consolidations is that you get to consolidate while maintaining full transactional history. So instead of having a single consolidated summary per month, you see the full detail when you drill down. From a single Excel spreadsheet, you can connect to multiple instances, tenants, companies. There's no limit. And that's possible thanks to the super fast in-memory database that we have. So in this diagram here on the right, you see the special database that we set up and maintain for you when you install the product. That's where all the key data of your Acumatica companies and tenants get consolidated. The functions and formulas and tools that we add then work with this data, giving you super fast and up-to-date information every time you use the product. Security is also something that's extremely important when we're talking about financial and project reporting. You'll be happy to hear that we're using the same security model and features as Acumatica. So once again, that's another benefit of being focused on Acumatica and building a product that works with Acumatica and Acumatica only. So when you open the product, you're going to use the same login and password that you use to log into Acumatica from your web browser. Any additional security restrictions that have been applied by your system administrator will be applied in Excel as well. So the most basic restriction that you might apply is to completely prevent access to Velixo reports for a user. So just by going to the access rights by user or by role screen in Acumatica, you can restrict access to the different inquiries and screens that the product use, and that will prevent people from running reports inside Excel. You're also able to set branch access restrictions. So if you have a multi-branch or multi-company environment and you want specific users to have access to specific companies only, you can configure that in Acumatica, and the same restrictions will be applied inside Velixo Reports. Lastly, we support role-level security. So it's something that is also called restriction groups inside Acumatica. So you can restrict access to specific accounts, sub-accounts, projects, and the restriction groups that you have set inside Acumatica will also apply to reports that you run inside Excel. So KFC France is one of my customers that is using restriction groups with their financial reporting. When they started a year ago, they initially were using the product for the financial team, but they saw the power and benefits of the solution, and they decided to create a simplified monthly P&L and performance report that they have prepared for every restaurant and area manager. So when the manager logs in, he only has access to the specific location, or sometimes specific locations that he's managing. And this is something that they configured inside Acumatica. And when you open Excel, they have the exact same access rights. So you don't need to set up and configure security into different systems. It's the same system that you already know, and that's already set up in Acumatica. So before I start my demo, I have a slide showing some of our happy customers. So once again, this is a product that we've been working on for a while now. We've just recently started doing more aggressive marketing, but we have many reference customers that have been using the product for over a year now, and this is just a highlight of some of these customers. So let's get started with the demo. So we'll stop PowerPoint. And the product is not installed on my machine. So I want to show you the simplicity of the installation and how quick it is to get started with the solution. So I will open the installer and I will click install. So the installation takes just a few seconds. And this is the first and last time you will have to install the product because there's a built-in automatic updater. So whenever we release a new version of the product, you see a nice window in Excel that tells you that, hey, there's a new version with this new feature. Would you like to update? And everything happens from Excel then. So I'm going to start by showing you a fully functional report that we provide with the product. So this one works with the Acumatica sales demonstration database. It's an example report. So the first thing I will do is type my Acumatica password to connect. So let's click connect. So the system will check my credentials and make sure that I have everything set up in the system. If it's the first time that you're connecting to an Acumatica instance, you will be asked to set up some inquiries. These inquiries are needed to support the Smart Refresh and synchronization feature. But don't worry, it's very simple. You just click yes, and Excel will set up the inquiries for you. If you're using the project module, you will have project-specific inquiries as well that will be installed at the same time. So the first thing I would like to do is show you the Acumen. Let me move that the bottom, okay? So I'd like to show you the new Acumatica toolbar that the solution has added. Later on during my presentation, I will show you some of the key features in this toolbar. But for now, what I'd like to do is simply refresh my report to get the latest information. So this file was saved yesterday. There may have been new transactions. And actually, let's wait for it to finish. There won't be new transactions because I entered October 2017. So it's highly unlikely that someone looked at 2017. But let's change it to another month. So I want to show you the speed of refresh. So let's change that to November and press enter, and boom, calculation is already done. I can also switch my branch to look at a different branch or a business unit. So if I select products wholesale, I will see everything recalculated. So the reason this is happening is because the formulas on my spreadsheet reference the branch and the financial period cells that I have here. So if I move to my net sales cell here and double click, you'll see that I have a formula behind it, a function called account turnover. This is one of the functions that we add to Excel. Each and every function is documented, so we're using the Excel IntelliSense feature. So you can see that as I'm moving my cursor between the connection, the ledger, the account class, and account parameters, you can see that the description changes. So this is a function that returns the activity for a specific account between two periods. And here we have the financial period cell that we changed earlier. If you require more information or assistance on any function, you can click on the hyperlink next to the function name, and that will take you to our self-service support portal where you can find more detailed information and examples on each function added by Velixo Reports. There's also a getting started guide, which pretty much resemble the presentation I'm giving you today. So you can also use it if you're trying the product or like simply learning it on your own. So I can see that my sales are not very good. I'm losing a lot of money, and I suspect that there's an error in my mapping. So what I'd like to do is change the list of accounts that are included. Yeah, that's right. I only have a single sales account. So that should actually be 40000 to 49999. So you can notice that in the first two columns of my report, I've placed the account mapping that I'm using. So you can have from two account ranges, but you can also use the Acumatica account classes, like you see here in the operating expenses section. The benefit of using account classes is that whenever you add new accounts, you don't need to worry about existing reports. The next time you refresh, you will see the new numbers, and the calculation will include whatever account you have added since your last refresh. But you can also use like simple account numbers and ranges like here. Let's change that, press enter, and you will see right away my net sales amount changed. So everything is live, and that's truly one benefit that people like with Excel. You see the results of your functions right away. You can add new columns, you can change mappings. Everything is live and real time, just like any function in Excel. This is just one benefit that Excel has for your financial and project reporting need, but there's a few additional things that I would like to highlight. First of all, in terms of layout, you can see that we have a logo, we have borders and lines, we have groupings. So here we have total operating expenses, so I can easily collapse that just to see a summary and a total. I can expand it if I want to view more details. I'm using conditional formatting. So here, this green arrow, and you can also see the red arrow here that indicates that our expenses are lower than what was budgeted. So this is using a standard Excel feature called conditional formatting. You can also have multiple tabs and mix and match multiple reports inside the same file. So right now we're looking at the P&L, but in the second tab I have a trailing 12 months P&L. I also have a project report. So let me zoom in for your convenience. So project is also a module that is fully supported inside Velixo Reports. We have built a set of functions that are specially designed to work with the Acumatica project accounting module. And it also supports all the new features that are part of the Acumatica Construction Edition feature. So an example of one such feature is the cost code. So you can easily filter any quantity or amount that you retrieve by cost code. So unfortunately, I don't spend a lot of time in this presentation looking at projects, but if this is something that you're interested in, I would be happy to make a separate presentation that focuses just on the project features. But just keep in mind that it works the same way as the GL functions. Whenever you make a change, everything is live. Oops, I used a project that does not exist. I can change my period to see numbers as of a different date. And you have all sorts of functions to get your actuals, quantities, committed amounts, budgets. You can do it by task, by account group, and so on. So it's extremely flexible, just like the GL section. So the last tab here is a trial balance, and in just a few minutes, we will be creating a report like this one from scratch. I want to show you the simplicity. But first, before we do that, I would like to show you what I believe is one of the best features in the product. This is the Smart Drilldown feature. So let's start by taking a look at the sales revenue amount that we have here. So let's right-click on this $12 million figure and select Drill Down to Acumatica. So when I do that, Excel will look at your function and show you a summary by account, sub-account, and period. So right now we have a single account, but we could have had multiple accounts, just like the net sales column we had earlier in the P&L. But you also have a summary by sub-account, by period, and by branch. So from there, I can easily click on the View Transaction link, and my web browser will open and take me to the Acumatica account details screen. So I was already logged into Acumatica, so the system did not ask me for my username and password. So now I'm inside the Acumatica environment. I have access to every feature available in Acumatica, so I can also drill down further. So I would like to look at this invoice. And from the invoice, I'm free to open the notes, the activities. I can look at any files that were attached to the document. I can review financial billing details. I'm now inside Acumatica, so I have access to the full breadth and depth of Acumatica features. So let's get back to Excel and show you why this is called Smart Drilldown. So what we did initially is quite simple. We took that sales revenue value and we drilled down. But what if you have something like that? You have a royalty or like commission calculation, let's call that commission calculation. I had the royalty calculation example in mind because this is something we did recently with a prospect, but let's do something with commissions instead. So commissionable sales, and let's make that look nice. So my commissionable sales are equal to the net sales in my P&L minus a few expenses. So I don't think this is a very realistic example, but I am pretty sure that you will get the point of Smart Drilldown. So we have 2.5 millions commission rate. Let's say it's 5%. Total commission equals that times that. Okay, so This is the commission that we have due for this month. You can see that we now have like a plain Excel function. We're not even using an Acumatica specific function here, but I'm still able to use drill down on a cell like that. So let's go to the Acumatica tab and do drill down. By the way, this is exactly the same as right-clicking and doing drill down. We just provide the drill down button in the toolbar as well for convenience. So boom, I have my drill down results again. But this time you can see that we have data and numbers coming from multiple cells in my P&L. The source cell hyperlink here is extremely useful, especially if you have a complex spreadsheet with multiple tabs and multiple calculations. It allows you to quickly identify where an account or sub-account was found in your spreadsheet, and you can just use the hyperlink feature of Excel, and it takes you back right where this $23 amount was found. So let's go back, and you can see this is what I clicked on. My P&L is rounded to the next dollar amount, so this is where you're seeing $23 instead of $22.50. So now that you've seen a fully functional report, I'd like to show you how you can create a new report from scratch. It's actually quite simple, and we'll do that in just a few minutes. I will also show you some additional features that are in the Acumatica toolbar that are also extremely useful. So let's click and create a blank new workbook. And first, I'm going to set up my connections to my Acumatica site. So I'm just going to connect to one Acumatica company. So from the connection manager, I will click add. So this is where you would set up all your connections if you had multiple instances or tenants that you need to connect to. So let's click add. We'll call that demo. This is my Acumatica URL. This is my tenant name, my login, and my password. Please note that you can save your password if you want to. The password is saved locally. It's encrypted. It's never shared with your spreadsheet. So if you send a copy of your spreadsheet to anyone else inside the organization, they will not be able to refresh reports. All the data, and you noticed earlier that everything was refreshing extremely quickly. The only thing that is saved inside the spreadsheet is the URL, the connection name, and the last numbers since the last time you refreshed. So let's click connect. I will close. Next, I will use the insert chart of accounts button to quickly populate my spreadsheet with all my GL accounts. So let's click insert here. And now we're ready to use our first Velixo Reports function. So one of the questions I frequently get is, where can I find the list of functions that your product adds to Excel? There's a few ways you can get the list. The easiest and most convenient one is the Formulas tab of Excel. Inside the Formulas tab, you have Insert Function. And from the Insert Function window, you can filter by category. So you can see that we have the Acumatica GL category and the Acumatica project category. So inside project, you can see every project-related function. So this is by far the module with the most number of functions. And in the GL module section, you see every GL-related function. So what I'm looking for now is the account name function. I want to show the account name next to each account code. So I will select account name and click OK. And the insert function window also guides me through the process of filling up the different parameters that are needed. So this one is very simple. I have connection name and account. For the account, I will just click on my A1 cell, and you can already see here the result. So it's petty cash. Let's click OK. We have petty cash. And next, I'd like to use the Excel copy down feature to copy my function on every row. So you don't want to type that for every single row. So usually you will do it for one account and copy everything over. Same goes with every other formula that you will add next. So now let's add the current balance. But first, I will put some formatting. So account code, account name, and current balance. Okay. And before we start typing the formula for the current balance, I would like to add a few parameters at the top of my report. So you want to give the ability to your users to quickly refresh reports. So whether it's changing the ledger from the actual to the budget, changing the branch, or even changing company, this is something you want to be easily accessible. You will not put the actual values in the formula. So I want to have my ledger, it will be actual, and I want to have my financial period. And I'm ready to start typing my function. So this time I will type it directly in the cell. I know it starts with account, and Excel shows me every Acumatica related function that starts with account. So if I was building a project report, I could also type equal project, and I would see the name and description of every project related function. So let's do account ending balance for my demo connection, my ledger, my account, and my period in B2. So that's it. Let's press enter. So the first time that you retrieve data from a ledger and a financial year, the system needs to retrieve the updated information from Acumatica. So this is the smart refresh process I was talking about. The system will do it the first time you start Excel or the first time you access a financial year that you have not loaded previously. So let's finish by changing the formatting. I want to have a $ next to the amount, and I want to copy that to every row in my report. So this is already a fully functional report. Now if I change the period to October and press enter, you will see that everything will recalculate. It's almost instant because this is a very simple report. Enter, boom. But as I told you earlier, we have extremely complex spreadsheets that refresh in just a few seconds as well. So Excel is extremely powerful, and the calculation engine that we built for Acumatica is highly optimized for the type of reports that people are building. I told you about my experience 15 years ago building such a product. Obviously, when it's the first time you're doing something, you make mistakes. And we did mistakes. I learned the hard way while supporting the solution for a few years. So when it came time to do something like that for Acumatica, I knew exactly what to avoid. And I'm quite happy about the result and feedback that we're getting from Acumatica customers using the solution in production. So let's finish by taking a look at some additional features that are available in the Acumatica toolbar. So we already looked at the refresh button. So refresh gets the latest information from Acumatica. So if you add new transactions and you want to get up-to-date numbers, you just hit refresh and system connects and retrieves the information. Drill down we looked at earlier. Hide 0 rows is extremely convenient. So you can see in my current report that I have quite a few accounts that have no balance. So hide 0 rows provides you with a very, very simple way of hiding these rows. I just select my column and click hide 0 rows, and they're all gone. Actually, they are not completely gone. Excel has just hidden the rows. So you can see it jumps from 18 to 20 to 22. So these are my 0 rows that were hidden by Excel. If I want to get them back, I can just right-click and select unhide. So I did it for one column, but you can do it for multiple columns. If you have a 12-month trailing P&L and you only want to hide the account if every period has no activity, you can do that. And this is a feature that will also work for project reports if you're building project reports. Copy workbook without formulas is a feature that allows you to distribute reports to users that do not have Velixo Reports or Acumatica set up. When you click copy workbook without formulas, the system will remove the functions and replace them with the actual values that you see right now. So it's very convenient if you want to distribute a file, or simply if you want to create an archive copy that will never be refreshed regardless of what happens with your ERP system. So copy workbook without formulas will go through each and every cell in your workbook and replace the functions with actual values. Lastly, we have a help section. So there's a direct link to the support center that I showed you earlier. From the support center, you have access to a few important articles like this getting started guide. We have user interface reference. There's a FAQ section, and there's also a set of sample reports that you can look at when building your own report. So there is the rapid bite sample that we looked at during this webinar, but there's also a set of reports created by one of our partners. So you can use that as inspiration. Actually, I'm looking at the sample and I forgot to show you something very nice as well. This is another Excel feature, but being able to combine the Acumatica data with Excel features is extremely useful and powerful. What I wanted to show you is charts. So in my P&L, I can easily select numbers and values and insert a dynamic pie chart that will show me my expenses by category. So we're combining Excel features like charts, like conditional formatting with the real-time Acumatica data. So now if I change my financial period to something else, let's say I switch to 2018 and press enter, my pie chart will refresh right away as well, showing the latest numbers. So salaries, 252, and same thing that you see here. So this is something that you have in one of the sample reports that's available on the support.velixo.com website. You can see it right here. So the solution is licensed by Acumatica Instance. An instance is the URL that you use to connect to your system, like rapidbyte.acumatica.com. We follow the same pricing structure as Acumatica. That means that we do not charge you per user. When you have a license for Velixo Reports, you are free to install it on as many copies of Excel as you want. There is no such thing as a designer license, a viewer license, or a connector license. There's only one Velixo Reports. You install it, and as long as you have a license for your Acumatica instance, you are free to build as many reports as you want. The pricing varies by Acumatica edition and resource level, and it starts at $125 a month. That's for the Acumatica Small Business Edition. If you want a quote for your company, please contact your partner. We work with Acumatica partners only, and the Acumatica partner will provide you with a quote and will guide you through the process of implementing the solution. So that's it for my presentation. I'll be happy to take questions. To summarize, Velixo Reports is the only reporting tool of its kind designed for Acumatica and Acumatica only. The solution adds a new ribbon to Excel, and you saw many of the functions that the product adds. If you would like to see more functions, you can go to the support site. Every single function is documented, and there are examples of how you can use them. Once again, the solution is compatible with the GL and project modules of Acumatica. My demonstration was mostly focused on GL, but everything you saw also applies to projects. You saw how simple it is. We installed the solution from scratch. We used an existing report. We also worked with a new report. It was very fast. I also showed you some of the key features of the product, like Smart Drilldown, Smart Refresh, and so on. I would be happy to answer any additional questions that you may have. I see that we have a few questions from the audience. But if you need more information, feel free to contact me. My email is on screen right now, gabriel@velixo.com.